I'm a fucking professional. I'm a goddamn professional. We are here. I love doing this shit. Just the music playing gets me fucking going. Boom. We're here. Let's fucking go. Sunday podcast. Sunday night. What's up, Matt? How's it going, dude? Thank you for coming in on Sunday, making changes. If you're listening, rate the podcast, share this bitch. We want to connect with you. If you're listening, also watch Big Mood TV. We're just trying to connect with you. It's kind of our thing. That's kind of our thing. It's just sharing human shit and connecting with each other. That's what we're doing here. So what's going on? So still going with the separation. You know, we're doing a trial separation. I shared that personally, and I'm okay sharing this stuff personally. I would never badmouth my son's mom. I'm not, that's tacky as shit. I would never do that. She wouldn't do that to me. But going through that, this week was a week of healing. This week was a remarkable week of healing. I told my friends, and I think I said it on the podcast, that I don't want to, people talk about walking through problems. They're like, I'm going to trudge the road. In 12 step, we talk about trudging the road to happy destiny. And I've done podcasts on this where it's trudging the road means like walking with purpose, like putting your backpack on and walking through the muck, and trudging the road. And in this situation, I've trudged enough roads in my life and in my recovery. So I wanted to be guided through this. I want someone to hold my hand, and I want to reach for help, and I want to ask men and women around me who have come before me to guide me through, and to just walk with me. And I've had different healers in the house. I have a combo ceremony next week on next Friday. So we're doing combo again to purge this. I had an energy worker here, and I wept. And I moaned and I groaned, and it was guttural noises and rocking back and forth and just getting through this, just purging this and writhing in it. You know what was happening? It was more than mourning a relationship. It was mourning the death of Christian, my best friend, when we were 19. It was mourning the death of that old person I was, that monster, that animal that I was. I used to be I was a savage, mourning that person. I'm no longer that person. I'm no longer the person I was 2 years ago. I'm no longer the person I was 3 months ago. And I had to mourn those negative parts of me. I had to moan and groan and grunt and fucking purge and push past those parts of me because it's gone. You know what? We're going to talk about something before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. If you're listening to this and you're in recovery, there's a trigger warning. If you're listening to this and you're one of my friends, just hear me out. I've been in 12 step for 7 years. It's given me my life back. I owe my entire life to the fellowship, the principles, the support, the community, the principles and the values and the work that was done that brought me freedom and release from the bondage of self and the bondage of a crippling heroin addiction. I was resurrected. I was truly, truly, deeply transformed through a spiritual experience through 12 step. But the reason, I'm tired of saying I'm Eric and I'm an alcoholic. I'm tired of that being my identity. And I go to meetings every day and I say, Eric, I'm an alcoholic. And when am I not Eric and I'm an alcoholic? And there's a great obsession of every alcoholic that we could drink like normal men. I don't have that obsession to drink like a normal man. And there's principles that I've learned in 12-step that I'm never going to stop doing because I know it keeps my life going. I'm never going to stop going to meetings, because I understand that's the antidote to this great obsession, the virus that's in your brain that says one day that you can drink or use drugs like a normal person. That's a virus, and that virus grows and spreads and takes over your brain. Before you know it, you're drinking again. Before you know it, you're shooting dope again down on Imperial. Before you know it, you're homeless. Before you know it, you've ruined your family and you lost your children. It happens that fast. So I'm never going to leave, but it's the identifying every day, which I've looked at a few ways. I identify every day to humble myself because I come on here and I play friends of mine say, Eric, you play a big game. I play a big game. I'm not playing, I'm a sheet metal worker or I work at a gas station or, those are noble jobs. Noble jobs. Those are necessary, noble jobs. There's no knock on those jobs. But that's not the game I'm playing. I'm playing big. I say some people want to be rich. I'm trying to be Ram Dass. I'm trying to grow as a spiritual giant. I'm trying to find a sense of ethereal peace. I don't want to keep my identity as Eric Alcoholic. And this is against the principles of 12-step that you're not supposed to say this, but this is my podcast. This is my shit. This is my shit. I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want. And I say, a big part of this podcast is that if the government can be criticized, if I can be criticized, every institution can be criticized. Even the ones that have helped people. They can all be criticized and they could all be questioned and they can all be examined. And I'm just examining my experience of this. And this is, have I said anything negative about 12-step? No, I haven't said anything negative. I'm just talking about me limiting myself to saying I'm Eric, I'm an alcoholic every single day. A friend of mine, he makes it a point. He says, I am so-and-so and I am a grateful, recovered alcoholic. I think that's what I'm going to start saying. I'm recovered. I'm a different person, and I owe it to 12-step. So I owe it to 12-step, and 12-step gave me a God that I can get intimate with. Intimate on a level that I don't think many of you understand. That's why I talk about it so much. And I say God because I'm fucking lazy. It's a big thing. It's a big thing that I'm talking about. When it comes to quote unquote God in my spiritual life, it's a big thing that I'm talking about, and 12-step gave me that experience, it gave me that experience, so that's just an interesting thing I'm experiencing. I just don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit myself to an identity, to any identity. I told my friend, I just had lunch before with someone from a leadership program I was doing, and I'm just playing a big game. Just playing a big game, and I don't want to be bound by titles. I don't want to be bound by any titles. I don't want to be indoctrinated by anything. And sometimes I feel suffocated by labels. Sometimes I feel suffocated by labels. And I know you do too. Sometimes you do. And especially with identity politics and just the culture of individuality, we all lean on our labels. You're a bodybuilder, you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're an alcoholic, you're an addict, you're your profession, whatever your fucking profession is. You're an attorney, you're a doctor, you're a steel worker, you're a fucking podcaster. It's just fuck. I no, what I'm doing is what my mind is doing is larger than this. And this is not hubris. This is not hubris. I was told that I had to seek a spiritual life. I was told that I had to seek something greater than myself. And I'm just going really hard to do that. And the label thing just keeps me bound. The label thing. Are we going to be able to take the treble out of this? Because I'm doing a lot of Okay, cool. We're going to be able to take that out. Maybe you won't hear. You won't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into meat and potatoes. So a big thing. We're going to go into the book I'm reading first. I'm reading The Rational Male. So as we talked about last week, so I'm reading a number of books. So one book we have here is The Masculine and Relationship by C.S. Youngblood. A blueprint for inspiring the trust, lust, and devotion of a strong woman. So that's one book that I'm reading currently. And then next is All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. That's going to be the next reading. One thing, an audio book that I'm listening to is The Rational Male. So when I'm in the car, I can still be listening and learning and hearing perspectives. And then I'm going to finish all this up with reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Might have said that wrong, but whatever. So I'm doing this. I'm studying this right now. And understanding how I've negatively shown up as a man in relationships my entire life. Negatively shown up as I don't have one relationship where I said like, "Oh, I'm proud of the way I showed up there." Not one. And I'm not going to repeat that cycle. And I'm getting off the ride. I'm off the fucking ride. That toxic ride. And I'm not talking about toxic masculinity. I'm talking about that cycle of the male female interaction. But this book, The Rational Male, I'm talking about it, and I don't. So reading it is not an endorsement of the ideas in the book. Let me just say that. Reading the book is not an endorsement of the book. Reading the book is understanding all perspectives of all different sides of like All About Love is written by a woman. It's about masculinity, but written from a female perspective. The masculine relationship is from a different perspective. Man's Search for Meaning is not all about masculinity, but it's obviously about seeking something larger in life and understanding purpose. So I'm doing this studying right now, but The Rational Male is savage. It is a savage book, dude. Matt, you should read it, and you should just hear the shit he talks about. He just talks about being a fucking beta male cuck, like. He uses that language, and he's like, he's talking about the reason you don't fuck is because ... It's just like, damn, it is cold blooded. But there's some gems in there. There's some jewels in there about masculinity and things that are just not sexy to women. Women want men to get shit done, as Christina said. On the last podcast, women want men to get shit done. That really, I heard on the podcast, women are attracted to competency. Can you figure it out? There's certain stuff that women are just, what women are not attracted to? Happy wife, happy life. Then and this is a point of that book, then it becomes their sexual attraction to you, and your sexual attraction then becomes transactional. I'm going to do what she says because she has this one powerful thing over me, and it's sex. Ooh, that's controversial. You know what I mean? But it's fucking true. Women have their vaginas, and we're like doing what we're doing. We're getting the car, we're getting the clothes, we're getting the muscles, we're doing all that shit so we can get the sex from them. And that's beta shit. According to this book, that's like weak man shit. And that's like something that I've been doing. And my partner's like, I was like, I hope she has sex with me. Like maybe, like asking, like, can we have sex? That's emasculating ass shit. And it's not sexy. The more I do that, the less she wants to fuck me. You know what I mean? It's a cycle of that. It's a fucking cycle of that. And that shit fucking sucks. And so this book gives this like hard dick version of masculinity. It's so aggressive. And I'm listening to the audiobook. And to be honest with you, this is probably one of those alt-right books. This is probably on an alt-right Reddit subreddit, or like this is on this is on Parler, where people are talking about this. This is like for borderline incels, And a lot of this stuff I just don't subscribe to. There's certain stuff that like I feel like I want to respect women to a certain extent, and not just like I want, and this is going to tie into the next thing. I want emotional reciprocity. I want emotional reciprocity and sexual reciprocity. Like I want you to fuck me, and I want a healthy energy exchange. A healthy energy exchange, and not only in sexual relationships, but in friendships. I think like we have friendships and relationships contingent on like the nonsense. And for so long and this is something that is my like I have a team who, Matt is part of the content creation team. I have Mike Dunn, who's part of the business strategy. I have C Squared, that's part of the marketing strategy. I have Brandy, who runs the Instagram. I have a team of people. I have a team of people. And Mike Dunn said something very powerful. He said, Eric, don't make yourself so fucking available. And my need to be liked, my need for validation makes it so I'm like, hey, come hang out. Hey, be my friend. I just want to be liked and I want to be affirmed so much that that I sacrifice my own power for companionship, lacking emotional and emotional reciprocity, and this is a part of the sex addiction as well. Just making yourself too available. Just making yourself too available, making myself too accessible. And that's gone. No more. No more. On my Instagram, straight up, on my Instagram, unless you're a friend of mine, if you DM me about business, my team is going to get to you. And I'm not even a big deal, but like I'm only dealing with clients. I'm only dealing with clients. When it comes to friendships, male and female, because I do, and this book believes that there is no ability for men and women to have held like real relationships, because if you're friends with a woman, or if it's a male female friendship, that female gets a relationship, or that woman gets into a relationship, her male partner is going to say, I don't want you spending so much time with Eric, right? And if you get into a relationship with a woman, she's going to say, I don't want you spending so much time with Kelly. You know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? It's a male female relationship, and then there's always a sexual undertone. It's like if you ask, and this is going to get me in trouble, but fucking who cares? But like if you ask a guy who's friends with an attractive girl, is he trying to fuck her? No. Will he fuck her? Would he? Yeah. He's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to fuck her. If she says I'm down, like if your homegirl is like, not you, you're in a relationship, but if you're single and your homegirl's like, hey, are you down? You're going to be like, yeah, I'll take the risk of losing the friendship. You know what I mean? I'll take that out. But like, that's why they're saying there's no possible way to have like real, like me and Dylan can be friends in like the most objective, neutral way, because first of all, there's emotional reciprocity, and we live together, so and we do business together, so there's monetary reciprocity. I pay him fairly. You and I have a relationship. I pay you fairly. There's reciprocity there. You provide dope ass content. I provide you funds. But me and Dylan have a relationship that is fair because I don't want to fuck Dylan. You know what I mean? I don't, and not only fuck him in a physical sense, I don't want to fuck him over. Just like in our business relationship, Matt, I don't want to fuck you over. So there's a healthy reciprocity there, healthy exchange of energy. But in a male-female relationship, there's a and there's a push-pull that I'm off the fucking Ferris wheel. I'm off the Ferris wheel. The push-pull with any partner, whether my partner and I get back together, that push-pull is done. Off the ride. It's off the ride. You meet me, hit me with that same energy I'm hitting you with. Hit me with that same growth I'm hitting you with. Rant. But it's all, and this is controversial, right? Like, this is not controversial, but it's like, it's hot. It's a hot kind of thing. Because some people can say this is toxic, and I'm not I'm not including all the genders. So I'm sorry. Come on, guys. It's too difficult. It's too many. It's like you're setting me up to fail. Topo Chico. Let me let that bitch free. I spilled. It's okay. It's so bubbly. Topo Chico stays bubbly you can leave that bitch open for 2 hours and that shit'll still be bubbly. Dylan put me on the Topo Chico. Anyway, emotional reciprocity as well. And that's an exchange of anything, in business. I want everybody who I work with, all the contractors I work with. I don't have employees. I have contractors that I work with. All of the contractors I work with, I want them to be well paid. I don't want them, before I see a dollar in profit, I want them to be well paid. I don't want them to be like, oh, Eric's not fucking me. And then they resent. If Matt feels like what I'm paying him is not fair, he's going to come in here and be fucking tight. Right? You're not going to want to do this, and if Matt doesn't see that the podcast is growing and I'm trying my hardest to make the podcast grow and my team is trying their hardest to make the podcast grow, Matt's going to come in here with a resentment and then the product will be less valuable. And then the whole thing crumbles. And then now we're not doing the podcast. I got to find a whole nother producer and then it's fucked. And now it's fucked. This thing we've been working on for a year, now more than a year, is fucking over. But we need this healthy business exchange. Which I've had some shitty business exchanges with some people where I just cannot work with them. And I said to them, I've been trying to pay, I'm trying to pay you more than you're worth, and you still suck at business. I'm not going to put their name out there, but I'm trying to pay you more money than you're worth, and you still suck at this. I'm trying. But anyway, so emotional reciprocity, friendships, male-female interaction. Don't make yourself too available. Another thing leading into the next thing. What are we doing on time? 20 minutes? 23. God damn. Yo, I'm a fucking professional. I'm a goddamn professional. Fucking, you bitches is sleeping. You motherfuckers are sleeping, dude. And we're doing these nighttime podcasts. It's bringing out a little bit. We got vibes in here. I was jamming. We got red lights in here. We have lights up, so we have good lighting, clear video. But when Matt came in, it's low light, fucking listening to old school jams. We're listening to fucking jazz and soul. It's a fucking vibe in here. These nighttime podcasts are about to be a whole different thing. But okay, moving on. With making myself less available. Another thing. Let me say another thing. In a lot of groups that I'm in, a lot of communities that I'm in, I am encouraged to reach out to people. It's like, Eric, call X, Y, and Z and connect with them. Motherfuckers don't call and connect with me. You know what I mean? People, I go out of my way to be like, hey, how's it going? I want to get to know you. Let's have some lunch or let's get on a phone call. I do that shit all the time in a lot of areas of my life, and people don't do that with me. And I don't know if I think am I nice? I think I'm nice, and I'm big, but I'm jolly as fuck. I'm like jolly. I laugh. I make lots of jokes. I'm fucking, I'm not scary at all. I don't think I'm scary at all. And even if I am scary, I'm not pacifying myself for you scared ass white motherfuckers. That's funny. But for real, I'm not trying to get you scared, bro. If you're scared of black people, then that's your problem. On Black History Month, being blackity black. If you're scared of black people, that's your beef. That's not mine. But in my regard, I am super jolly, and I'm tired of putting myself out there in order to be accepted or to feel like a part of the community. Fuck that. So I told Dylan, I'm like, I'm not putting myself out there anymore. Like, I have friends. Our home is open to alcoholics, right? So if you are an alcoholic and you want to gather, come here. We're gonna listen to music. We're gonna have good conversation. Come here. Like, the house is set up that way. We set up a house for a vibe. We set up a house for a workspace and a vibe. So it's very intentional what this house looks like. The energy in the house. Very intentional. But I'm not putting myself out there calling motherfuckers like to kick it. If you want to come through, come through. But if I'm not begging you, emotional reciprocity. But what's been happening to me and where this comes from is I've been in different communities, in the leadership community, in networking communities, in networking communities, and in recovery communities. I've been, hold on one second. I've been too many personalities, right? Like there's too many people. I know too many people, and I'm getting to know too many people. And like the more time you spend around people, the more you're getting to know their personality. And like as a recovering person or as a business person, I like you. But generally your personality sucks. And I wouldn't like you if it wasn't for X, Y, and Z in the middle. Matt, I'm sure you know how many people have you worked with where you're like, I just don't like you. But I'm doing this business with you, but I don't fucking like you. And like I'm in a lot of communities, I'm doing this thing with you, but I don't fucking like these people. You know what I mean? And what I wrote here was too many personalities. So I'm focused on principles. And that led me to something that we've talked about before. The Eightfold Path of Buddhism. Always bringing it back to God because there's fucking continuity here. There's message continuity. We're goddamn professionals. We do this. So it brought me back to the Eightfold Path and conscious congruency. We did a whole podcast on that. But the Eightfold Path, if you don't know, right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentrations. So right understanding, objectivity. So fuck your personality. I want to be neutral. I don't care. I'm in this, and I tell Dylan's doing the work that I'm a mental health advocate. Like I am a mental health advocate. We do it on this podcast. We speak about recovery and mental health, and we are advocating for you, and we're advocating for people like you and people like us. Black people, we're advocating for marginalized groups. That's what we do on this podcast. We're on a subconscious level. We don't have to say that we do that. Right, Matt? Would you agree? We don't have to say that we're doing that. But that's what we're doing. But my job in a lot of areas as a coach and as a mental health advocate is to be in plexiglass and to be objective. You and your insanity cannot get into my plexiglass, which is hard to do because you can become emotionally involved in people's very emotional situations. And in regards to all these personalities, I've been getting on the ride. Of like, what does so-and-so think about me? What is so-and-so? I'm off. I'm fucking off, dude. I'm off. I'm neutral. That's a gift that I was given in recovery. And people think they talk about neutrality in the sense of drugs and alcohol. And I think of this in the sense of life, in theory, that I am neutral in most cases. I am objective. I wipe my hands. I am politically neutral. Even reading about masculinity. I'm reading some dog shit and I'm reading some beautiful shit. And I'm down for all of it. I'm down for all perspective. And that leads right into right thinking, positive thinking, empowering thinking, pouring into people. I tell people I'm proud of them. I tell people I love them. I tell my son I love him. I love you so much, buddy. Hey, just listen. Just listen. Hey, buddy, I love you so much. I tell people I try to speak life into people. My clients, I try to speak life into them when they're receptive. Some people don't have the faculties to even understand what I'm saying, and that's part of the work that I do. But right thought, right speech, continuing. Like I think on this podcast, we cuss a lot. I burp into a microphone, whatever. But I don't speak hate into the world, do I, Matt? We've never spoken any malice into the world. We just don't do that. I don't do that. That's not the way my mind works. My mind is not like fuck you to people. That's just not how my mind works. Sometimes it's fuck that bitch, and bitch meaning dude or person. Sometimes, because I'm human, there's duality, but I don't speak malice into the world. I don't get on this microphone and shake shit up just for the sake of views. So it's right speech, pouring into people. I make sure when I do any public speaking, whether it be in the program or for professional, but in a professional sense or anywhere, I'm intentional with my words. It's economy of words. Make every word count. You have 3 minutes to share something. You have 3 minutes to share something. Make it count, and make it empowering or inspirational. Even if your life's a mess, find the good in the mess, and that means be honest. And honestly, no one can say I'm not a real one on here. No one can say that. I don't fuck around. I'm not faking the funk, bro. Not faking the funk. Not at all. I got a gut right now. No, I ain't faking the funk, bro. I'm wearing all black all the time, though. That's intentional. But I'm not faking the funk. I'm flawed. I'm fucked up. I'm a cheater. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. I'm a savage. I was violent. I was a piece of shit. And now I'm not. No one's faking the funk. No one's faking the funk. Right action. The next indicated step. The next right indicated step. Right actions. We did that whole podcast. It's not what your brain's telling you. It's what your feet are doing. In this separation, the right action was to go into the healing, lean into the discomfort. People to go through breakups and it took them 2 years to get over it. And it took them 6 months to get over it. And I think that is because people are numbing. They're numbing. They're trying to fuck their way through it, or they're trying to validate their way through it. And if my relationship does not end, because I don't know if it's going to be ended forever, I'm not going to speak in definitives. I'm not smother my children. I'm not going to speak in a definitive term. Like, who knows? We may end up back together. I love her to death. She's been my biggest cheerleader. Shout out to her. She listened to that one podcast about the separation and was like, fuck you. Why do you? I was like, do you ever listen to this shit? I was like, you never listened. Because I've spoke hella nice about her, dude. I spoke hella nice about her over the years. I've never been like dogged her out, and I don't. She's the mother of my kid. And she's supported. She has poured so much money of our money into my business without a question. She's like, what do you need? She's helped me build everything that I'm doing. I have no shame in saying that. I believe she deserves the financial compensation. She deserves the acknowledgement. She deserves it. She's helped me so much. But it's right action. Doing the next indicated step. Right livelihood. Making honest money. Doing the right work. Doing purposeful work. I think I'm doing it. I think I do it. For me, so I did this. I hate visualization meditations. I hate it. I think I might have talked about this before, but I forget. I talk about so much shit. But I did this visualization meditation, and we were walking through the woods, like every fucking one, or walking through a forest, or walking into a cave, like every fucking visualization, fucking meditation. You walk in there and you see a wise man. Let's get low. You see a wise man, and you ask that wise man a question. You don't have to tell people your question, but I'll tell you mine. I asked the wise man, what's my purpose? And then it says, the wise man pauses for a second and he answers, what was your question? Because some people ask different questions. My question, what's my purpose? And the wise man whispered to me and said, you're loving it. And then the wise man gave me a gift. In this visualization, the wise man gave me a gift. And that gift was my story. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful visualization. I hate those kinds of meditations. They're so corny. So fucking corny. But they're cool because some people are really like imaginative and that works for them. So if you do like love and tolerance meditations, which I do, then I think of love and tolerance meditation as when you are focused on someone who you may have a complicated relationship, and you're essentially praying for them and meditating towards them, hoping positivity for them, and just, care bearing it, where you shoot laser beams of love out of your heart. So I like those. I like love and tolerance meditation. But anyway, when we speak of right livelihood, live your purpose, right effort, putting your energy in the right places, right mindfulness, meditate, spend time in the silence. Right concentration. Again, keep your mind on the right things in life. That's why I'm choosing abstinence right now. I don't want to be distracted by lust. I don't want to be motivated by lust. And then in business, I don't want to be motivated by greed. I want to be motivated by service. Something Mike Dunn has taught me. We don't lead. Some people lead from the top. Jeff Bezos is at the top, and then he has a pyramid of workers down at the bottom, and then there's the mass people who are working in the factory who are getting shitted on. And like Apple, you have people jumping out of the buildings because they're putting together phones for 18 hours a day. And that's, and what's his name? Tim Cook is at the top, making billions of dollars. You know what I mean? And Mike said, that's one way to run a business. Very successful model. And then he gave me his theory. And he gave me his theory and the model that I would like to try. It's a service-based model. I'm at the bottom. So like I've told Matt, I'll just give you guys a dive in. Before I make $1 from this podcast, Matt will get paid more. Fact. Before I make $1 on this podcast, Matt will get paid more. The more mental health clients I get, the more recovery clients I get, Dylan will get a raise. The more followers and traction we get on social media, Brandy will get a raise. The more clients I pull in and I enroll for my coaching program, C Squared will be compensated more. Service-based. So I'm making my money, and I'm not scared of making my money. I'm going to make my money, but everybody's going to be compensated fairly where they enjoy working with me. I'm at the bottom. Still making a profit, but I'm making a profit being service-based. Service to the people who collaborate with me. Those are the people I need to be of service of. And then my clients, I need to be of absolute service to them. Give myself to them. Sometimes I give too much myself and I burn myself out, but I'm not doing that anymore. Did that with fitness, and I put so much energy, and it was not reciprocity. That didn't, I use that word a lot today. Fuck it. I think that's the name of the podcast. Let's use the word enough. How are we doing on time? 40. We're wrapping it up. Let me just talk about, this is my first weekend with my son alone. That motherfucker's a savage. It's not my first weekend with him alone ever, but it's my first weekend with him in this new house. my littlest one. I'll have my oldest next week as well. It was my first weekend with my littlest one. And he's mean. He made me cry. He makes me cry. And maybe I'm a weak dad, but I think it's good for him to see me cry. And like for me to be like, hey dude, your words and like you being selfish and being like, it hurts people. You can be hurtful with your words and your actions. You gotta be respectful and helpful and kind. But he made me fucking cry. And he hid my keys. And I had an anxiety attack trying to find my fucking keys. He got mad at me, locked my door, took my keys and hid them under the bed. Fucking asshole. He's a fucking asshole. And I took my garbage and put it next to my car to see if it would unlock. Because like, did I throw them in the trash? I took my laundry bag and put it next to my car to see if it would unlock. Because I was like, did I put it in my laundry bag? And then I'm looking like all these spots that I put them. I put them right here. I put them right there. I put them up there, like on the little surfaces. But I have a little, basket from the Middle East that my mom got me that I put my keys. That's where I've been putting my keys recently. It's like the spot for my fucking keys, so I know where they're at. He took them out of there and fucking threw them under the bed. And the only reason I found him is because I was looking. He was hiding he was watching his iPad in my closet, which is cool. It's little kid shit, right? It's like, I have not a big closet, but I have a closet, and he's watching his iPad in there. And I'm looking one way, and then I look the other way, and this little motherfucker threw him under the fucking. And I'm like, fuck. So I had to go. I went outside, sat outside, and I put my hands in my face in my hands, and I was like, fuck, this little fucking guy. I love my son, but I don't like kids. I think a lot of people feel that way. They just don't say that. I think a lot of people say that way. And they're like, I love my own children. They're like, oh, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It is because it teaches you love on a different level. It teaches you love in a different way. You know what I mean? It's like, the love, like there's a part of a Jay-Z song, the love of your partner, the love of your mom, the love of your dog, the love of your cousin or your friends, but then the love of your child is guttural and it's primal. So it's a whole different thing. And you only know when you experience it. That's why people say, I love my dog. I have dog babies. It ain't the fucking same. If my dog, and this is a stolen joke. This is from Tom Segura's last special. But I have 2 dogs. If my dog bit my son, I'd kill that fucking dog in a second. And I love those dogs. I love my dogs. But if they tried to kill my son, I would fucking cut those dogs' head off. And I love those dogs. But if you try to kill my kid, I'm going to murder you. And we'll finish on that. So if you listen, see, this is the nighttime podcast. This is the vibe we're bringing out. This is the vibes. Anyway, if you're listening, great. Subscribe. If you listen all the way through, shout out to Mandy. I know you're listening all the way through. Thank you. I love you, kid. Yeah, share it. We want to connect with you. I think some things resonated here. Some honest conversation here. If you're listening, you could also watch the podcast. Matt does a very good job of production. Our YouTube channel is built the fuck out. We have a professional YouTube channel. We ain't doing no half-ass shit over here. It's built the fuck out. Especially if you put it on night mode, dark mode. That shit looks fire. In the black, right? With our logos and shit. Our YouTube channel's fire. We have different it's fucking dope. Just go look at it. Watch the podcast. We have great production. So anyway, we're out of here. Peace.